Hi, very good morning once again. This is Gayatri. Myself, I would be the training coordinator, the trainer for this particular course. So the course is your basic CSA and the CSSA level course is what we would be covering. So I've been a corporate trainer in Pega for about 6 years now, taking up trainings on different levels of certifications of Pega, CSA, CSSA, PegaBA, different other frameworks as well. Guys, if you're not speaking up, can you all please go on mute? Yeah, thank you. So I think that's a quick intro about myself. And talking about the course is scheduled for 60 hours. Right, whereas the first 30 hours is going to be for the CSA, whereas the next 30 is going to be for the CSSA. Right, I hope you might be aware that CSA is the basic level of certification in Pega, whereas the next level is going to be the CSSA, and then the final one is going to be the CLSA. And all these three are related to development. Right, so if you are looking for a development career in Pega, so I think this is the course that you have to look at, and I think you made the right choice. Okay. Just setting up the expectations here is, so the we would be taking up a session for 1.5 hours each day, right? Now, along with that 1.5 hours, I would also expect you to work hands-on for at least 1 more hour, right? So this is not like something where you just attend a session today, then just come back tomorrow, attend something. No, it doesn't work that way. Right? So you have to put in a hands-on as well in order to make a complete utilization of this, because you're all spending in time, you're all spending your money. So make the most out of it. Okay. And I know if a few of you might be working, I mean, you're already working, so it might not be possible during the weekdays, but at least during the weekends, try to put in some time in order to practice things, right? So unless hands-on is there, it wouldn't be that easy for understanding the topics, because this is going to be a completely technical training in Pega, right? So we would be looking after the implementation of each topic while we take it forward. Okay, so hands-on is a must. So make sure you are practicing well. Okay, I think that's the only expectation I have from your side. Okay. All right, so then I think we'll take up a few things today. I mean, let's discuss a few aspects. I hope you're able to see the screen as well. So talking about the course, I think, yes, this is what I was mentioning. So during the session, so probably for the first 10-15 minutes, we'll talk about the background of it for whichever topic we are discussing. We'll try to look at a bit of background and things that are required to understand it. And the rest of it is going to be the implementation part. Okay, I mean, we would be working on it practically, and we would be seeing it. And we can also, I mean, in case if you have any questions, you can bring them right away, or probably towards the end of the session for about 10-15 minutes, we can have specific for your doubts and any questions you might have. Okay. So that is how we are going to divide it. Okay. So I think that's all about the course intro. So I think we'll jump in. So we'll see a few basic things today, and then from tomorrow we'll be jumping into the course. Okay. Right. And in case if there are any questions, you're not comfortable anywhere, you can stop me. And the assumption here is that we will be starting from the 0 level. Okay. So when we have a different a level of audiences here. Few might be very new to Pega, right? Few might have a bit of experience on Pega, but they're looking for the, for a little more detailed training. Or you might not be part of IT at all, right? So we have a different set of audiences. So we are going to start from the very basic level. So you don't need to worry. We will be starting it from 0. Okay. And towards the end of the course, we can assure you that you will be able to build a decent level of Pega application. Okay. So if your course is until CSA, yes, you would be able to build a decent level of Pega application with all the DB interactions, with all the, security aspects, debugging. So a decent level of end-to-end Pega application can be assured. And if you're, also taking up the CSSA, so we will make sure you build better Pega applications. So we'll talk a lot of advanced aspects with respect to the CSA. We'll talk about integrations, then versioning, collaborations, sort of all sort of advanced stuff goes on to the CSSA. So towards the end of it, you will be able to build better Pega applications. So that's what is assured as the outcome. So I think then let's go ahead. We'll be talking about a bit of, things related to the intro basically. So we'll see how it goes. So what do you think Pega is all about? So you might have done your basic, background as like why Pega, what is it? Why you have to, go for a training course for it. You might have done your homework, right? So what do you think Pega is all about? So you can speak out. If you have any perspectives, you can convey.
It's a BPM flow application development platform, right?
Right. So, okay, agreed. So Pega is a BPM application development platform. Agreed. Okay. Team, any other inputs? Anything else other than BPM? Okay, right. So I think, right, of course, Pega is a BPM tool, or you can say it's an application development platform, right? Which caters for your business process. What is a BPM? What is
business process management?
Exactly.
Business process management.
Exactly. So BPM is nothing but a business process management. Perfect. So before directly, understanding Pega or BPM, I think we'll start understanding from the very basic level. So we'll see what is a process first, then we'll see business process, and then we'll see business process management, and next we'll go for Pega. Right? So let's not directly jump into complicated things. So we'll start with a basic process. Now, what is a process? So anything that I do in order to achieve a particular outcome can be called as a process. Right? All those steps or all those actions that I take in order to achieve something can be called as a process. Now, I make coffee. I can call it a process? Yes, because some standard steps are involved. Yes, it is a process. And what is the outcome there? Outcome is making coffee. Right. Then I'm working on a project report. Can I call that a process? Yes, because again, standard steps are involved. Like I have to gather the information. I have to segregate it. I will represent it in some charts. Right? Then I will send it to the concerned party. So yes, standard steps are involved. It is a process. Good. Now, what is a business process? So the most important factor here for a business process is you should have an outcome which is going to be of value to the organization or for the customer. So that's the most important factor when it's a business process. Okay, what is it? You should have an outcome, of course, right? But it should be of value for the organization or for the customer. Now, going back to the earlier examples, so I'm making coffee. Does it add any value to my organization or for my customers? Of course not. Until unless maybe if I work at Starbucks, agreed. Yes, it is adding value to both the organization and for my customer. But otherwise, no, it cannot be considered a business process. What about project report? If my project report consists of entities like customer satisfaction index, or my return on investments, my sales margins, my profits in the last quarter, if it consists of all this stuff, yes, it is value for my organization. And yes, I can call it a business process. Right? So now, not every process is a business process. Agree with me? Agree? Yes. So what all I have to look at, or what are the qualifiers for having a process as a business process is, of course, one is your outcome, the most important one. Other than that, we also have a few other things as a checklist. Okay, so I have to look after this checklist, and if everything is satisfied, then I can call that as a business process. So what is that checklist? So let me read this out here. So a collection of related, note this. So a collection of related events, activities, decisions that involve a number of actors, resources that finally lead to an outcome. And the outcome should be of value to the organization or to the customer. So that is how I will decide whether it's a business process or whether it's just a process. Okay. Now, what are those 6 entities that I have to look at? Events, activities, decisions, actors, resources, and outcome. Now, what are these? So events are something which you work for, or probably things that you perform in order to achieve something. Yes, they are called events. And activities are the tasks that you perform in order to complete a transaction. So I think let us take a simple example and we'll correlate that with this business process definition. We'll see if it is going to be a business process or not. So I'm going to consider an example of an e-commerce transaction. So I think most of us place orders online in order to get your products delivered. Correct? So let's take a simple example with Amazon. So let's take this scenario where I would like to order a book. Okay, I would like to purchase a book online. So what would I do? So any inputs? What kind of things are involved during this transaction, or how would it start with? I would like to purchase a book. Now, how would it go?
First, we search for that book.
Okay, you start searching for that book. Agreed.
And like after we find, we place it in the cart or buy it.
Okay.
And there's a payment process, and also update about the confirmation.
Okay. Fine. Fair enough. Okay. Right. So, guys, anything to add in?
First, we need to log into the app.
Okay, log in. Yes.
We need to enter our credentials, and we need to search the book. and we need to add or add into the cart, or we need to directly buy the product, and after that we need to enter our the payment details through debit card or credit card, or
Okay.
we can make it we can select it as cash order,
Okay. Okay.
and we will receive the email notification
Mm.
or through mobile, I mean
Okay. Okay.
through SMS.
Okay. Agreed. Agreed. So once the payment is confirmed and you place the order, you will receive the confirmation. Okay. So after that, what happens after the confirmation?
Tracking details will be updated in the application.
Okay. So you can keep on tracking your order, where it reached, what is the current status. You get to see all those details. Okay. Agreed.
Yeah. Finally, if there is any cancellation, it might happen, or if the product is delivered, it will be updated as delivered, and if it is eligible for a replacement or return, and that is also a process.
Fair enough. Agreed. Okay. So once you receive your order, I think that's the end of the transaction, right? Perfect. Fair enough. I think I got all my inputs for this. Yes. So to start with, what happens is first you log in into your account. Okay. Then you start looking for the book, and directly you wouldn't just add it into the cart, right? You look after various vendors, because you look for discounts, right? You look for reviews. The reviews of this vendor is good or not, right? What has he delivered in the past? Are they, original copies? You get to see a lot of things like this. You look at the reviews, ratings, discounts. So probably another vendor is offering some better discounts. So you start purchasing from him. Right? So you look at all of these. Then once you add it in the cart, you will proceed for the payment, where you have different choices. You can either use internet banking, you can use your credit debit cards, right? Or some Amazon reward points could be there, cash on delivery could be there. So you will decide, right? What kind of mode of payment you would like to have. And once you decided, you proceed further, you place the order. Okay. So after the order is placed, probably your job is done. Okay, your part has been played. So what next is the vendor will look after the availability of the product. He will look at in the warehouse, and then it is packaged nicely, and then it is shipped, and then it is finally delivered to you. Okay, so this is how your transaction goes. Now let us correlate this with the previous definition that we looked. So event, you initiating for purchasing a book is an event. Okay. So what are activities? All those tasks that you have performed are your activities. So what did you perform? So you searched for the book, you moved it into the cart, you made a payment, right? You tracked the order several times. So all those are your activities. Decisions. So decisions are involved here. Yes, you made a choice as in which vendor you have to go for. You made a choice what kind of mode of payment you wanted. So yes, that is a decision. And are there decisions involved from the vendor side also by any chance? Did the vendor make any choice here?
Yeah, if the product is not available, it will
product
be
is not
updated.
available. Agreed. Okay, product is not available is a decision that vendor makes. Okay. Anything else? Any other decisions?
Price change also.
Prices. Okay. Agreed.
Location availability.
Location availability. Okay. Yes. Depending upon your address, pin code, whether it is deliverable to that address or not. Yes. Is a decision by the vendor. And probably I think one of the important things is your mode of delivery, or the mode of transport, right? In which how you would like it to be delivered. Probably if you're a prime customer, a premium customer, You would expect the delivery within a day. Right? So in that case, maybe he should go for airways. Otherwise, maybe I can expect the delivery in 3 to 5 business working days. So a normal road transport is fine. Right? So I think that's a decision the vendor makes. Yes. So definitely decisions are involved. Then actors. Who are the actors here? Who all are involved? Yes, definitely customer.
Customer and vendor.
Correct, customer and vendor. But there are a lot of other people also, right? It's not just the vendor, probably the warehouse guy, the packaging team, the shipping team, right? The delivery team. So a lot of people are involved here. Okay, multiple people are involved. So there are a lot of actors also. Okay, then resources. What are resources here? Anything that helps you finish your business transaction can be called as a resource. Maybe a gift wrapping paper could be a resource. Okay. Or when the delivery guy comes in, he brings a device for e-signature sometimes. Yes, that could be a resource. Okay. So resources tend to, or they help you finish the transaction. Again, the last one, the important one is the outcome. What is the outcome of my transaction here?
Product.
Product. Okay, I received the book is an outcome. Agreed. I received the book in a good shape. It is an original copy as I expected. It is everything is good. I'm happy. When the customer is happy and the vendor is also happy because he has got his amount and he also got his good feedback. But can I always expect a positive outcome only? Every time?
No.
Not possible, right? So I might have received the book, but it is damaged, or it is not the original copy, or it's not the latest version. Then, of course, I wouldn't be happy with that product, right? What I do is I'll put in for an exchange or for a return or for a cashback or something, right? So in that case, the customer is not happy. The vendor is also not happy because the vendor has to go through the transaction all over once again. Right? If I put in for an exchange, he has to go through all over the transaction once again. It's a negative outcome. But I cannot always expect outcomes to be positive, right? I should also be handling negative outcomes sometimes. So putting aside whether it's positive or negative, again, some sort of outcome is expected, right? For both. And it has to be of value for the organization or for the customer. So now on this particular transaction which we have discussed, can I make sure all the 6 entities are satisfied? Yes. Yes, it is a business transaction. So we have qualified our transaction or our process as a business process. Okay. So likewise, you can consider any kind of real world scenario, be it your passport application, be it your loan application, or a claim request that you make. So take any kind of real world transaction and you can make sure all these 6 entities are satisfied. Okay. Right. So are we clear so far how you can qualify a process as a business process? Yes. Perfect. So now let's talk about multiple processes. Suppose taking the same example of Amazon again. So one transaction that I can make is placing the order. So any other business transactions that I can do with Amazon? Any other transactions are possible?
Order cancellation.
Order cancellation, perfect. So that's another transaction and it has its own set of events, actions, actors and sort of stuff. Yes. Okay.
New account setup.
New account setup. Okay. Registering new account. New account, not exactly a business process. Okay, but still, okay, agreed. Okay, new registration. Or probably you can say new vendor registration because that involves a set of events. Okay. Then any other transactions?
Returning an item.
A return of your items. Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Product display, if I'm a vendor.
A product display. Okay. If you being a vendor, agreed. Then maybe Prime subscriptions, unsubscriptions, then your Amazon Pay. Right. So I mean a lot of transactions are possible. So along with place an order, you can cancel it.
Mobile recharges.
Mobile recharges. Okay. Agreed.
Customer service.
Customer service. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. So that's a entire process in itself. Yes. Okay. Now, along with placing an order, there are a lot of business transactions I can perform, right? So depending upon who you are and depending upon what your context is, right? Are you a vendor? You want to sell your items? You want to make a business out of it? Or are you a customer just requesting for one or two products? So depending upon who you are and what is your context, you will be working on the appropriate business transactions. Right? Now, if I'm able to manage all these multiple business transactions together on a single unified platform, that's what we call it a BPM. Okay, so what is your BPM? BPM will allow us to manage multiple business transactions together on a single unified platform. So that's nothing but BPM, business process management. Nothing but you're managing your business processes. That's all. Okay, so you might have multiple business processes depending upon the kind of product that you're dealing with. Okay, if you are dealing with an Amazon like product, so all those transactions that you have mentioned, so I will be able to manage them. Okay? So if you're dealing with something like a passport related application, so what kind of transactions I can expect or what kind of business processes I can expect for a passport related application, right? Your the PS case, passport seva Ken. So what all process they would offer or what all transactions they would offer. You can get your issue of a passport, right? There could be reissue, renewal, lost passport, right? Cancel passport. So multiple transactions are there, right? So your BPM will always allow you to handle multiple business process together. So you would be able to design your transactions. You would be able to execute them. You can monitor, you can generate reports out of it, right? So a lot of things are possible when it comes to the BPM. Okay. So why is it even important? I mean, why is this managing thing really important here? So why not I can go with some Java, .NET or any other tools or sort of those languages or other platforms are there. But why is it specific that this BPM going for this rather than
No coding.
low coding? Agreed. Of course, low coding. You don't need to code anything line by line. Yes. Then any other advantages of BPM?
It's fast development.
Fast development. Okay, agreed. When of course there is no or low coding, yes, it is faster to develop end-to-end applications.
Differentiating the business logic with UI and database.
Differentiating the business logic. Okay, agreed. So you get to have different layers here, right? I mean, for UI, then for your business logic, for the backend. Okay, agreed. Yeah, okay. So the purpose, or you can say the the aspect that I would want to use a BPM for this, not any other tools, is because obviously few features are provided by those platforms, right? I mean, we have a lot of BPM tools, one of which is Pega, of course, and we have IBM BPM, we have Appian, TIBCO, Nintex, and each one of it has got its own advantages and disadvantages. Right? So they come with a lot of inbuilt features that help us, develop applications faster, of course, and the coding is minimal. So most of it is we are going to use visual tools, right? And visual as in, I don't say it's a simple drag and drop. It's a lot more beyond that, but at least we get to see visual tools here instead of line by line coding. And these features that they come up with are the advantages aspect. So assume generating a report using your Java code. So how complex it is going to be if I want to display a pie chart in using Java. So imagine the complexity. Whereas with your BPM tools, there is a feature available, just that you map in the right entities and you get your chart. Right? So this is one simple example regarding the reports. Because there are a lot of other inbuilt features that are provided through which we can manage our transactions more effectively. Okay? Right. So that's where we talk about the BPM, Business Process Management Tools. Okay. Perfect. Now, what is Pega? Pega is a BPM tool. Yes, I got that answer. Now let's discuss Pega in a little more detail. Okay. So far, are we good? Any questions? Okay. Enough.
I have a question.
Yeah. Yes.
If the application is not a BPM application, that can't we develop in using Pega?
See, the purpose is, I mean, when I hope you know that Pega is a licensed software. I mean, it doesn't come free of cost, right? So we get to have like huge investment put in to purchase a software like Pega. Right? Now, when you're not dealing with business transactions or when you're not dealing with business process, then I don't even need to go for using Pega. I can use any other languages for achieving this. Right? So this suits for business transactions, for managing business processes. Right? So the suitability is apt for business transactions, not for any other, set of requirements. Okay. Yeah. Right. So then let's go ahead. We'll start looking at what Pega is all about. Okay. So what is Pega? Pega is a BPM tool. Okay, fine. Other than that, what else do we know about Pega? Pega is an application development platform where the business users work along with your IT. And instead of writing lines and lines of code, we tend to use visual tools. Okay. So Pega is an application development platform. So towards the end of the day, you will be able to build applications here. And there is always a very close coordination between the business team and the IT team. So, am I audible to you? Okay. So Pega is this application development platform, and there's always a very close coordination between the business team and the IT team. The business team as in, who are the business team? Your BAs, right? The product owners, the stakeholders, they are your business users. Right? And who are your IT? The developers. So we, CSAs, CSSAs, and LSAs. So there's always a very close coordination between the business team and the IT team in Pega. Because we have got different studios for different people to act upon. I mean, we'll discuss about Pega studios going forward. Now, okay, Pega is something that manages your business through a BPM tool. Okay, agreed. But why Pega? So why not other tools? So why is it that we are going to use Pega, and why not other BPM? So what sort of advantages do we get with this? Any guesses? So of course, I think I've got a couple of inputs already. Low code approach. Right? So I think let's talk about why should we start using this? First one is a low code, no code approach. So instead of writing lines and lines of code, we use some visual tools. So definitely the level of coding is minimal. Right? I don't say complete zero, but depending upon the requirement. The platform comes with few features. So in case if your requirements are within those features, then I can call it a no code approach, zero coding. But if your requirements are beyond what the platform has provided, then I can go ahead and I can write my own set of code. And that way, again, it will be minimal. So it is going to be a low code approach. So either no or low. Then the approaches here are model driven. So what is this new term, model driven? Model driven is nothing but we'll talk about business transactions in a model. So we will be able to model your business transactions. So we have something called as life cycles where you design the business transactions. Then visual tools. So we'll be mostly dealing with the visual tools. It could be drag and drop, or they could be process models. So you design what comes, what. So you will design it in a sequence. Right? Then documentation is automatically generated. So you might have seen this where towards the end of the project, people would start documenting stuff. Right? Once you think, okay, my project is almost done, now it has to be put forward to the maintenance team. So that's when most of the projects will start documenting stuff. Okay? That doesn't need to be there when it comes to Pega. So you don't need a manual effort to work on documentation. It can be automatically generated by the system. Pega supports responsiveness. So what is responsive? What is being responsive? Okay. So responsiveness is part of, you can say it is respective to the device in which you are trying to access your application. Okay, let's take a simple scenario where you designed an application with Java. Okay. Now the application is designed for web. Well, it's a web application, so it is designed for the browser. I would also like to access the application through a mobile device. So can I directly access it? I mean, without any changes on the configurations of HTML and all, can I directly view it, access it on the mobile? Will it give me a good experience? Probably not. Right? Because definitely you need to make in some changes with regard to your HTML to make sure your application satisfies the web device, the mobile device. But in Pega, you don't need to do that. Once you build the application, it can adjust itself according to the device sizes and the screen resolutions. So once you build it, you can access it across different devices. So that's nothing but being responsive. Okay. Right. Now let's have a look at, few, reviews relating to the various BPM tools available on the market. So this is something related to the research frequency versus the customer satisfaction score. So if you see, the research frequency of Pega is quite high. Pega comes up with new versions within no time. So it started off with the 4 version. So later we have got 5, 6, and within those also.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Sorry. Team, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Got it. Fine. Yeah. So initially we have started off with 4, 5, then we have got 6, 6.1, 6.2, 7, 7.1, 7.2, 7.2.1, 7.3, 4, 8, 8.1 now, 8.6 is the latest Pega's version that is available. So they come with a lot of new features for every release that they bring up. Right? So the research frequency is quite high. And that could also be the reason why some clients are reluctant to use Pega. Because within no time, they come up with new versions. Suppose I start my application with 8.1, and within the next 3 months, I get 8.2. So probably sometimes the clients are reluctant for this change, right? But yes, they come up with a lot of new features with each release. So that's one reason why we can go for Pega, because new features each time. And of course, the learning also has to be there, because if I have to work on a new version, I should learn the features of it, right? So the learning curve also goes well when it comes to Pega, comparing with the other BPM tools. And each one of it has its own advantages and disadvantages. Like, we cannot just say that this one's the best. No. So we should always check what's best for the requirements. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to judge it just by the features it is going to offer. Now, let's look at some capabilities of the platform. So what all can it do? Okay. The first, the important one is DCO. We call it direct capture of objectives. Okay. You might have seen most of the projects would use a separate tool for gathering the project requirements. So be it your Jira, Kanban boards, right? You might have been using it to track your stories, to get in the requirements, specifications, for tracking the project. So you would be using these kind of tools. Right? But if we start using Pega for its efficiency, we can capture objectives directly into the application itself. Okay, you can get these specifications, or you can get your requirements directly into the application. Okay, so that's one best advantage when it comes to Pega, which is DCO, direct capture of objectives. So you're capturing the objectives, capturing the requirements directly in the application. Okay. So then we have something called as guardrails. So what are guardrails? So guardrails are a set of best practices that you have and that you have to follow to make sure you build good applications. Just like any other tool in Java or in .NET, I cannot just write the code however I want it, right? I have to follow certain principles, some standards, right? Which the platform has set, and I have to abide by those things. Similarly with Pega also, the platform has suggested some best practices and I have to follow them. Okay. And for each application, I get a score for this. Okay. So the application is evaluated and I get a score, and we call it the guardrail score. So this guardrail score decides the health of my application. So higher the score, better is your application. Okay, so this goes on a scale of 0 to 100. So for most of the Pega applications, we expect that the guardrail score goes above 95. So if it's more than 95, you've built a pretty good application. Okay. Now, suppose if your product owner sees that your application score is 60, so he would right away say that this is not the quality he's expecting. Okay. So you just give me the guardrail score, I can tell what kind of application you have built. Okay. Then extensible applications we have. In Pega, you can build your own frameworks. Okay. So what is a framework? In general, what is a framework? What is a framework?
A parent application that we can use for reusability.
All right, perfect. So reusability is what comes with the framework. Something is already built, someone has already built it, and if I would like to reuse something from it, I will deploy or I will use that application. So in Pega, you can create your own framework applications and you can reuse it for other applications. So by default, we have got few framework applications for different verticals in Pega. Right? Like there is Pega customer services there, Pega sales automation, Pega marketing, then Pega smart dispute. So likewise, we have gotten few frameworks already provided by the platform for different verticals. As in, there is Pega customer service for insurance. There is Pega customer service for banking. There is Pega customer service for insurance, healthcare. Likewise, we have gotten frameworks provided by Pega. Along with that, if you want, you can also create your own framework application. Okay, so you can extend your applications for different users. Right? Okay. Then the last one is your deployment. So you can deploy your Pega applications on premise or on the cloud. So the deployment is possible either ways. So on premise, as in you have your environment on your local server, whereas cloud, when it's on the cloud, your application is hosted on the cloud and it can be managed by the Pega team. So we get a set of assistants when it's on the cloud. So I mean, just to correlate this, you have pictures on your mobile, right? So if they are on your gallery, you can call it on premise. If they are from your Google Cloud, it is on the cloud. So just a simple correlation. So these are.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you explain one more time what's the extensible applications? What's this mean again?
Okay. So Pega is all about building applications, right? So one advantage here is I can create my own framework application. So if I think, okay, probably I build this application and it can be reused for a lot of other features, then I can create my own framework application. And those are called extensible applications. I mean, you can extend it. Once you've built a framework application, I can reuse it across multiple other applications. Yeah, did I get it right?
Okay, so I can reuse it. When I extend it, I can reuse it, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So extending as in you will be able to reuse it across other applications. It's like a framework. Some reusable set of entities is already created, and then you can use it wherever it is required. Yeah.
Also, can we reuse other frameworks?
Other frameworks, as in, yes, you can have multiple frameworks as part of one application. You can do that. Okay, just to give a simple example. Now, I want to create an application in Java using Spring. So Java in itself, I can call it a framework because a lot of reusable components are there, inbuilt functions are there. So yes, and on top of that, I'm going to use Spring framework. Yes, and on top of that, I'm going to create my own application. So 2 layers are possible. Yes. Similarly, with Pega also, I can bring in different layers. We call it a class structure. So we'll be talking about that once we start looking at few more other details. But I can have different layers of applications involved to get the optimum utilization of things that are already available.
Just another extension of that doubt. So
Yeah.
can we use an application or framework that is developed in Java, and can we use that for making another application using Pega?
Not exactly. When we can write a bit of code here, you can have some packages included and all, you can do that, but an entire application might not be possible. Right? I mean, the whole point is that to avoid coding, isn't it? So what Pega aims is that even without much of a technical background or even without much of a coding background, still people should be able to develop applications. So that's the whole point. They brought this low code approach. Right? So again, going back into this Java and then deploying it as a reusability factor is not that a good approach. It's not a best practice. Okay. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. So guys, any other questions so far before we move on to the next?
Yeah, so actually, like I was thinking, like, do Pega have the capability so that, like, if I want to integrate my current system with some other systems like Salesforce, may probably SAP, so do you have any inbuilt components that I can easily integrate, like already built integration connector, something like that?
We have few set of connectors for integrating with other external systems. I mean, we can have a look at them, but in case if you think none of it is going to work, we can create our own connectors as well. So we have options to deal with your REST. So different JMS connectors. So all those are possible. So the feature is offered. So we would be able to make use of it as per the kind of external environment that we are going to use. Possible.
Yeah.
Right. Then moving ahead, let us talk about the installation also. We'll talk about the environment as in like how are we going to practice it. Right? So we'll talk about that. So when I say Pega application, Pega applications are basically web applications. Okay, which means you can access them on the web browser. They're not desktop application. Okay. Now, when I say web application, of course, you need an application server for it, right, in order to access your web applications. So definitely, yes, an application server should be there, and also a DB server, yes, to look after the database part. So an app server and a DB server are mandatory. Okay. Now holding on to that, I can install Pega in 2 different ways. One is the personal edition, other is the enterprise edition. So the personal edition is kind of a practice one, you can say, which is a free version provided by Pega for practicing. Right? It's like a lighter version wherein you can practice and it is free of cost. Whereas enterprise edition, where you host the actual enterprise applications, so that is licensed. So it doesn't come free of cost. Okay, it's a licensed version for it. Now, when I say app server and DB servers, For the personal edition, we get it as a package, included as a package, and I don't need to install anything separately. It comes everything as a package where the app server is by default, it is going to be your Apache Tomcat. Whereas the DB server is going to be PostgreSQL. This comes as part of the personal edition package. So the team will assist you in getting your installation done on your laptops. Okay, so for the personal edition, I don't need even an internet connection for it to be running. So I can access it as and when required. You will get it installed in your systems. But the minimum requirement is that at least an 8 GB RAM should be there. Right? At least an 8 GB. If it's 16, fantastic. Otherwise, at least 8. With 4 GB, it will be really hard, I mean, the system goes really slow. So at least an 8 GB is suggested. Now, for the enterprise edition, so what kind of choices I can have for the app and DB service? So for enterprise editions, you can go for for app, talking about the app server, of course, Apache Tomcat. Then you can use your IBM WebSphere, then JBoss, Oracle servers could be used. Whereas for DB servers, again, I have a different choice available. First, obviously, your PostgreSQL, then IBM DB2 could be there, Microsoft SQL, then Oracle. So that choice depends upon the client that you're dealing with and their requirements. So any combination can work, but provided the appropriate configuration should be taken care of. Now, talking about the personal edition, so the team is going to help you set your Pega's personal edition in your laptops or your PCs. And once your installation is successful, you get to see 3 icons on your screen. Right? Like you get to see 3 things on your screen. Like 3 shortcuts, you can say, for relating to Pega. Just okay. So it would be something like this, where you get to see 3 icons, one for login, one for startup, and one for shutdown. So each time you have to work on your personal edition, you should start your server first, so that a command window would be running in the backend. It says server started, and once the server is started, you can launch your platform. Okay, and this is how. And this is how it is going to look. Okay, once your installation is successful, and this is the process that we have to follow. And once your work is done, probably you're done for the day, always make sure you shut down the server. So you have 3 things: login, startup, and shutdown. So startup, for starting up your server, then login, working on your applications, and then shutdown to shut down your server. Yeah, as simple as that. So yes, this is how the personal edition installation is going to be done. The team is going to help you with this, no worries. So they will set up the environment for you to practice. Okay. And this is not a trial version or something. It's not like it's going to expire in 30 days or so. No, you will get to have it when you have it on your system. You can access it anywhere, anytime. Okay, so that's about the.
But are there any limitations in the personal edition?
Nothing like any limitations. It's like even for the personal edition also, you will have it specific to a version, right? So as and when Pega comes up with new versions, there is also a version for personal edition available. So nothing much of limitations there. but probably few defects or few issues might be addressed a little later. That's all. I mean, comparing with the enterprise edition, obviously personal edition will be given a lesser weightage, right? So in case of any defects or issues reported on the personal edition, so they are acted upon only after they are addressed on the enterprise edition. So otherwise, nothing much of a difference between those two. So the functionality remains the same. The features remain the same.
So if I develop an application using personal edition, can I host the application on the web?
Not exactly, because you would be using it as a local host, right? So in case, I mean, if it's just for one single operator or one single system, you might give it a try. But if there are multiple people accessing it together, it doesn't probably work.
I mean, like I can't release the developed application using personal edition. Right?
Right. Yes. Because, you cannot access it across different devices. So.
Okay. But for once, like for individual person, we can check it. And then,
yes, possible. Yeah.
And that can be hosted using enterprise edition, right?
Correct. Exactly.
If I develop an application using the personal, and that can be transferred, can it be transferred the environment that is in the enterprise edition?
Yes, you can do that. Transfer is possible.
Okay.
Deployments are possible. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So then probably let's move ahead and we'll talk about the different studios that Pega offers. So like I said, the main agenda of Pega is that, so even not very technical people, even not very, person who's not much into coding can still be able to work on the application. So they have given us different studios for different people. So we've got 4 different studios: app, dev, admin, and prediction, each of which is targeted for a set of people. So your app studio is for your business analysts. So it's basically for your BAs, or you can say even application developers also, where they quickly develop applications. So the high level skeleton of the application can be built in the app studio. Whereas dev studio is for CSA, CSSA. So we would be working on the dev studio to look after things related to security, versioning. So all those go in the dev studio. And then we have admin studio for system administrators. Okay, to look after deployments, batch processing, background jobs, all those would go on the admin studio. Okay. Whereas prediction studio is for people who are inclined to work with data, your AI, ML models, all your data scientists, data analysts, so they would be working on the prediction studio. So each studio is specific for a certain set of people and for certain functionalities, you can say. So from the app studio, I can quickly design a skeleton or outline of my application. I can quickly get it reviewed from the product owners, stakeholders. So you can look after a bit of UI designing as well from the app studio. Business transactions can be designed. So who's in charge of the app studio? It is going to be your business analysts or business architects. Then dev studio is looked after for complex requirements. Things like your collaboration, teamed developments, versioning, source control, security, all of those would go on the dev studio. We would be working on the dev studio. Then I have admin studio for the background processing, the batch jobs, the node management, then your deployments. So all of these would be part of the admin studio. So system administrators will be working on the admin studio. Okay. And then I have the prediction studio. If I would like to bring in some AI ML features into my application, I would start using the prediction studio. Okay. So this might not be required for all the applications. Again, this is provided, but if it depends upon the requirements, whether I would like to use it or not. Okay, if your application is not relating to AI, you're not going to use anything of AI, then I wouldn't use the prediction studio. Okay, but here you can build in your custom models, AI, ML models, adaptive, predictive models. So I can deal with all of that stuff on the prediction studio. Okay, so this is how, depending upon the part that you play on the application, you would be working on the appropriate studio, right? So I think that's all about the studios. And as we predominantly, we would be working on the dev studio. Okay. So I think let us just have a quick look at the studios. Okay, and I think we will conclude with that. Now for the so-called login credentials. So there is a default credential that is provided, administrator@pega.com, and install is the password. So once you log in, you will get to see all the different studios. We will start creating applications with this particular user. Okay. And in the meanwhile, do we have any questions so far? Any other questions so far? Are we good?
I have a question I would like to ask in the end.
Okay. So here each studio is designated for a specific set of people, right? And again, end of the day, it's all on the same application itself, but different people trying to access it in their own view. Right? So this is how your dev studio is going to look like. So we'll explore more on this going forward. I just wanted you to have a look at how the studios would look like. Okay, so this is how your dev studio is going to look like. Whereas this is going to be your app studio, and depending upon the the people who are trying to use it, the studios are also designed appropriately. So Dev Studio gives you more features relating to debugging, security, and complex requirements. Whereas App Studio is more of a lighter version. So not many technical or not many complex things are involved. It's just a lighter version of the application. And this is how the App Studios would look like. Yes, so this is how the App Studio would look like. Giving in the overall view of the application and all, because obviously it's for BAs. Then let us look at the admin studio. So this is going to be an admin studio. You get to see things related to nodes and background processing, agents, batch jobs and stuff. Finally, the prediction studio. So this is all about the models. So there are a lot of existing models that are available. You can make use of it. If nothing works, then you can also create your own model. I think that's all about the various studios. So we'll be exploring a lot more on this going forward, but this is just a high level thing of how the studio looks like and sort of stuff. Okay. Right. So I think that's all for regarding the studios. Okay. So any questions so far? Are we good? Yeah. Okay, so I think we discussed a few very basic aspects today, as in like what is a process, business process, BPM. Then we spoke few things about Pega. We spoke about why, or what are the capabilities of the platform. We have discussed some features corresponding to it, right? And then towards the end we spoke about the different studios provided by the platform. So I think that's all about for today.
I have it done.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So in the real time also, is it the same process that we need to follow to start the application and closing the application by shutting down the server?
I mean, in the real time, it would be hosted on a server, right? I mean, like you will have a VM where the environment is available, right?
Okay.
The starting and the shutting down of the servers will be looked after by the IT team. Okay. I mean, ideally, we wouldn't start and shut unless there is some issue. I mean, probably if there's something that needs a restart of the server, we would do it. Otherwise, it would always be in a running mode only. So as this is for the personal edition, we will have to start it, then work on it, and then just shut down it. Otherwise, the production environment or in your dev environment, we wouldn't need to do that, because you'll have a team of people working on it. Okay? Probably IT, your IT would look after it. In case if probably any restart is needed, we would put in a request for it. Otherwise, not required.
So how would we access the? How do we start? How would we on the application in the real
And that
time?
is what, and they would provide you an environment in which you can start working on.
Okay.
Right, like how we have seen now. I've logged in with the administrator@pega.com, right? So likewise, you will given your own credentials to work on the application.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah.
And like related to the enterprise edition, right? So there I have just checked about the pricings. For the first month it is free, and then it is like ranging from $90 per month to $250 or even more. So if I individually develop an application using Pega Personal, and if I want to host it after development process is done, so I can just opt for the enterprise edition, and I can use it for just releasing, or after releasing, do I need to still continue the the what do you say, like subscription or license?
It has to
It will be
continue.
continued.
Yeah,
To be continued
yes,
until I need to.
yes, yes.
Okay, I got it.
Right. Right. So, any other questions, team? I think I'm good.
Yeah. So if I don't want to download in person edition, like a personal edition, can I is there any availability for a cloud edition for that personal edition?
Cloud, I mean, if you have the PD and access? I mean,
Yeah, I had access.
Okay. So then from the CSA course, you have in the CSA course, you will have the challenges. Right? So in
That's like
challenges,
for
you can
any
access a
instance,
cloud
it will be
environment.
created, right?
Correct.
No.
Correct.
Like similar to the personal edition, is there any
No,
like cloud
no,
edition?
no. We
No.
don't have anything as such.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
So I think
I have one question here. As a part of this course, what type of application will be developing as and when we have the new topics introduced?
Mhm. So I'll be taking up an application, I mean a basic application, and throughout the course, I would be working on the same application. Okay, so we will be creating both framework applications and implementation applications. So both we would be doing. Okay, I mean it's not specific to any industry or anything. It's a basic application that we would be creating.
Okay, so and also you'll be explaining about how the real in the in the project how we'll be receiving the requirements accordingly. We'll be doing it here.
According to the project requirements, I mean, we will try to put in as much detail as possible when we talk about that specific concept. But I mean, separately, nothing like specification details and all, we wouldn't be discussing. Yeah,
Okay.
it just goes with the topic only. I mean, the
Topics.
concept.
Okay.
Yeah, like we'll discuss what kind of things might come, but not exclusively on the requirement detail. It's more like a course driven thing only when it comes to the sessions.
Okay.
I have another question. Like, are we going to work on the latest version in the course for the discussion of the new topics?
Yeah. Yes, we will be working with 8.6.
Okay.
So I think then that is all from my end, team. So I hope we'll catch up tomorrow again, same time. Yeah. So thank you all. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for joining. Good day.
Good.
Thank you.